now. If you want to learn other ones, learn. From the level we are leaving you, you're able to start expanding. You can't learn everything from in school. School is just to put you, to bring you up to a stage where you can strive on your own. When you get to working industry now, you start learning different things from school things. Because then now it's tasks. And they can twist their tasks. They can tell you this is what you want. So like I was defining, let's quickly go there. Let's go there. Power BI slicer. Power BI slicer. I said a Power BI slicer is a filtering tool that allows users to select specific values or range. A Power BI slicer is a filtering tool that allows users to select specific values or range to display in a report. To display in a report. Who are speaking to him? So, all right, so that's a slicer. Now, we need to see slicer as an advanced filtering command, Power BI. That is why you check what I mentioned, what filtering. So let's say you have 2 or more reports in your dashboard, and you want to filter certain information across them. That is where you need what? Slicer. Just like the way we use it in Excel, pivot table. Exactly what we achieved with it. You know, slicer in Excel was actually helping us to use different models to view what different data based on certain what defined criteria. So there must be a criteria for slicing across or filtering across the entire data or the report you must have created. Just like these 3 reports I have here now. So I can bring in slicer to filter out certain information based on what defined criteria. So how do we apply it? Practical steps. Number 1, create the reports in your dashboard first. So you shouldn't bring in slicer on a dashboard that does not have reports created. At least there should be 1 report. So note, your Power BI slicer is automatically connected to all the existing reports in the dashboard. So you don't need to do any configuration like we did in Excel that we have to start connecting the report. No. Once you insert it by default or automatically, it connects to all the existing or the current reports you have in your dashboard. So as we have these 3 dashboards now, 3 reports rather, if I bring in the slicer now, it's automatically what? Linked to all of them. Even if you have your cards, every report you must have created, you can what? Use the slicer to what? To fetch certain information through it based on the specified criteria. So once we have ensured that, the next step, click on the slicer's visual, which is this one. Click on the slicer visual. Click on the slicer visual. So once you click on it, it brings out this. So this is slicer. The visual is empty. We need to add data. Now the data you have to add is the criteria for the slicing. So you need to have known the criteria for the filtering so that you know which header or data you are to put inside the slicer. For example, now let's draft your next step should be determine the filtering criteria header. So you need to quickly find out which header will be used for the filtering. Determine the filtering what? Header. Determine the filtering header. So e.g., based on this data that I'm working with now, I want to construct my own header so that you know how to think about it. This is a data set that we are all familiar with, right? Now, these three reports has city information. Here, I analyze the summary of 5% tax per what? Each what? City. Here, I analyze the summary of total against what? Branches. And then here, I created a graph of this. Now, you need to have an idea of the analysis you perform with those what? Reports, so that you know which header can actually what? Be used to slice or to filter on them. So based on this, I will not want to use city again as a criteria for my what? Slice, because I have it here. So I will look for something else. Okay, I want to use gender, which means that if I put gender here, if I select male, it will give me the breakdown of what? These 5% tax against this city for only what? Male. It makes sense here. So these are some of the brain work you need to do before you impute your data into the visual. So let me click on it. Once you are on it, click on the gender, and then it will capture the two or all the unique value. So it will only take what? The unique value. For example, now, if I remove this and add products, which is also very important, so it will only capture what? The unique values under whichever heading you select. Now, I told us that for every visual you are using has its own what? Formatting that will allow you to what? To change some of the settings. So under slicer setting, I can change it from vertical to what? To drop down. You can see it now. Now it's now what? In a drop down. I can change it from drop down to what? Tile, like buses. Then you can go to, you can format the values. Let's increase the color so that we can see them. Increase the size also. Very good. The font color is black. The padding. Okay, let's change it. Let's change it to. Okay, so I'll try to increase the size. Then the background color so that we can see the text. So now let's change the color to white, right? Now, you can also go to general and determine what the background color of the entire frame itself, just to have a kind of border focus. So now, if I want to slice now, if I want to slice based on one criteria, slicing based on one criteria, what does that mean? That means that if I click here, is one criteria. So this is slicing. So now it means that right now, this report needs to be reinterpreted if you are presenting that data to us. Because before we selected this, we were having the reports here for all the products, right? But now that you have clicked here, you are not having only what? Electronic what? Reports. So if I am asked, okay, give me electronic and fashion. Give me electronic and fashion on this report. So once I have selected the first one, hold down the shift button and select what? The second one. So right now, it's showing us 1 minute. So if shift button did not work, use control. I think it's control that works on my system, but sometimes it's shift based on your system configuration. So right, control plus what? Plus clicking to select or to analyze or to slice with more than one criteria. Because if you just, yes, control plus clicking. So right now, if I want to also add a report of health and beauty, I will hold down the control and click on that. So right now, each of the reports are analyzing what? Information from these three what? Products. Do you understand it now? Good. So every other thing that for formatting it. That is what slice has done, does. Now, what's the next one? It's very simple, just like a pivot table in Excel. Drill through, right? Yes, that's a concept now. That's a concept. That's why I told us then in pivot table that if you can learn. Yes, just for you to know. So let's look at Power BI. Okay, let me allow you to add the slider to those reports that you presented that day. Add slider showing. Let's see. But to make more sense, when you have all those plenty cards, let's add slider to one of those reports. Okay, let me answer your question. It affects every report. Look at it now. Look at what you have here now. If I click here, you're not affecting it. Affecting it. That report, that one that you presented that day. Yes, in the class. Add slider there. Or is there all these slider? Wait, have you added slider before? Add slider there and slides. You see the way everything we communicate better than this one that I just have just 3 reports. Oh man. Okay. So we are looking at Power BI what? V2. How did I define it? It's a feature that allows what? Users to navigate from what? A high-level summary to what? A more detailed. Now, let me use a practical scenario. Let's assume that you summarize the total gross income. Do we have gross income in this data? I think this data I have it, yes. Total gross income. Or maybe, let's do it this way. You analyze total gross income per state, sorry, per city. So after your analysis, you have, okay, let me use the main report to break it down for us. So the main result, the main report, I said it should be represented with graph. So let me use this graph to project my main report. So since I'm not giving breakdown on this page, this is a higher level summary page. So I don't need to have too many reports. So now I will just answer that question, summarizing city against what? Gross income. So I have already generated the graph. Now, if I hover on this is telling me the total gross income for what? Napite to be what? 5,265.18. If I hover on this, it's also giving me what? The total gross income generated from Yagon to be what? 5,057. If I hover on this, the same thing. Now, if after you have pointed this out to your boss and he says, okay, give me the breakdown of this per payments. Are you getting the logic now? Give me the breakdown of this, that's the detail. Give me the detail of this value per what? Payment, which means that I want to know inside this 5,265, the percentage of cash payment, the one of what? E-wallet, and the one of what? Credit card. That is drill through. That's what you are drilling through this to have the more detail. And that will be outputted in another dashboard. So this is where you have the main summary, the main page, and then when you drill through, it will display the result, the breakdown in another page. That is your detailed page. So my next step now is to create the detailed page. Now we have created what? The main page and the main what? Or the high level summary what? Report. Now the next step, create the detailed page. So I'll create another page and name it detail. Make sure you are writing your step the way I'm putting it now. I'll name it detail. So which means that what? We are drilling through from here to where? To detail. Now, the next step, in your detail page, create your model, create the model to display the breakdown. In your detail page, create the model to display the breakdown. Create a model to display the breakdown. Are you with me? Now, what is the breakdown? Let's construct it as a task given to us, because sometimes you have to picture the kind of breakdown they want you to perform. That is what will determine how you will create what? The detailed page models. So now let's look at this. Write this down. Let's say this is the task. Write this down. This is the detailed task now. E.g., break down the total gross income generated. Break down the total gross income generated per state, sorry, per city for each product line. For each product line. For each product line. You see the logic now? So I cannot say break it down per city. Not that it cannot work, but I would rather break it down per another word, variable, so it will make more sense. So based on this now, look at what I'm going to do. Based on that question now, I will create a table here. Just be looking at that question now, because that is what is guiding me now to know how I'm to create what? The breakdown. Now, in this table now, I will now activate what? No, I will now activate product line. Remember the question that I have to break down city summary for products, right? That's the reason why in my detailed table, I am recognizing what? Product as one of the header. Then it will summarize it based on the gross income. So the gross income should be constant. Because in that main report, city against what? Gross income. You are breaking that same summary of gross income per product. So it must connect. So you cannot come here now and choose what? Task. Because in the first place, your main report is not analyzing what? Task. So this is a little bit creativity here. You must identify the breakdown you want to achieve and per which variable. So that's what will guide you here to determine your detail. You can actually have multiple details. That as you are drilling through from there, on this model, break it down per what? Product. On another model, break it down per what? Gender. On another model, break it down per what? Maybe branch. You can have more than one. So let's create another one. Let's create another model. So now, the breakdown here is the same drill through that is coming from there. Here, it will break that total per product, right? Then here, it will break it down per what? Gender. Then that same gross income is to be what? Analyzed here. Each of them, gross income, which is the value for the summary, must be what? Be active. Now, another model again, another model, break it down per what? That one I mentioned in the note I had to write before, that payment, right? Break it down per what? Payment, that same what? Gross income. Now, if I like, I can even have my own graph here. I can come here and say, okay, let me copy it and what? Paste this one and have a full dashboard here. A full dashboard, that is what I'm targeting now. Then switch to what? Switch to maybe another graph, because the other one that you are bringing it from there is what? Is bar chart, right? So let's use this one. So you take your time to format it very well, arrange everything very well. Now, once you have done that, from this drill through page, this is where you link it. You don't link from there. You connect from here to the main page, not from the main page to this page. So your next step now would now be from the detailed page, write it down that way, don't worry, once I perform it, you understand it. From the detailed page, are you with me? Select the particular report to break down the value in the main report. to break down the values in main reports. Are you with me? So now, so you are not going to attach the read through to all of them at once. You are going to be doing it one after the other. So right now, because I want you to watch here now, look at this place now. You can see read through here, right? That is the command. Now, once I click on this report now, what happened? It will not display what? The two fields. Product line, right? Now, these are the actual value. These are not the read-through value. Now, if you scroll down, you see a place where they say what? Add what? Read-through what? Field. Now, we are drilling through from there on this report. We say per what? Product, right? So I will drag what? What is it called? The gross income, I will drag it there. Now, to create this icon, can you see this icon? Not like arrow there. That arrow just came out now because I added what? Read through what? Field. That arrow means what? It has automatically what? Connected to the main page. That is the meaning. Now, if you hover on that arrow, it will not tell you that you should hold down Control and click for you to jump to the main page. So if I click here now and select, look at this, automatically, it brings me to what? To the main page. Now, if I hover here now, right click here now, you will now see what? Your read through, showing you what? Your detail page. Now, this is where you want to answer the question. What was the question? Somebody hover on this before, right? Hover on this, and this report, this bar has analyzed that the total gross income generated from Napitor is what? 5,265. And then you are asked, okay, break this value down per what? Product, right? Now, you now right-click on it and select what? Read through and go to what? The page. Now, it will automatically bring you here, and then the report have changed now. What you are seeing now, the value you are seeing now, the breakdown of what? Electronic from only Napite. Before, it was showing all the city. But now, it has customized it to only what? That particular word product. Eh? Yes, because if you want to apply it on this, you click here also, then you go to this place, it applies. Look at it here, it applies. It applies all of them automatically. So your own is just to know how to communicate when you are presenting. Now let me cite another way. Now let's assume that which are the value you're not saying? Drop the curtain, madam. Drop the curtain so that you can see the value very well. You are seeing them better now. No worry, I will do it for you again. Now, this is what I'm saying. Look at this here. This could be profit. Maybe is sales inventory. You analyze maybe city per what profit they generated, right? Let's assume now, because it would make more sense with the data set you are working with. Most of these things that you are working with determine how interesting they could be. Now, let's say you analyze profits from 3 states, from Delta, from Edo, from Lagos. Now, in that same data, they have different products that they purchase. But here now, this one is showing total profit generated from all. So now, in your detail page, you now create a model that can break it down per state. Now, when you now come here and reach, that model will now be showing only what? That selected what? States. This one, right? Good. Let's click here and select this. It will show us the page. You can see that the value has changed. The same model. Look at the value here. You are not seeing this value. Which one? Here? Look at it now. It will change. Yes. It will change. Madam, since you are not seeing, let me delete some of these reports and make this one big so that you can see it and format it. So let's go and format now. You are seeing it now. Well, madam was small, Shakara. But are you last born? I'm sensing it, you are last born. Okay, so now let's go for the true now. Let's see the value you have here now. This is for Yagon. Now let's go to the main report now and drill through this city now, right? Right click, select what? Drill through, view DT. Now, can you see that the value has changed? Did not change. Now, before I end this topic, you can have multiple what? Detailed pages. This is the one you are used to answer this question. Let's create another detailed page for targeting different breakdown now. So you can come here now and say detail what? 2. So in your office, all those routine questions they ask you, you have created what? Their drill through pages, their detailed pages down. So as soon as your boss asks you, you drill through, supply what? The information. Now here, we want to answer what? The payment on. You know, I deleted it from the other one now just for madam to see. So let's say we don't want to assemble them in one place. Each page is for one. So I want to reflect that payment here. So that payment, I will just create what? My table visual and activate what? Payment. That is, I'll be breaking it down per what? Payment. Instead of what? Per what? Per city. Right? There is the gross income now. So let me also increase it very well low. So go to format, bold it. Is it okay? Okay. To make more sense, let's attach graph. Always attach graph. So as it's changing, you can also see the graph changing. Let me put the graph here. And just go back to my visual. I'll just switch it to, no, that is the type of graph we are using here. Let me use another type of graph. Now, from this detail page, you select the report, right? And then come here. We are drilling through based on what? What are we adding? The gross what? Income. We are adding to the drill through what field. Then it has added what? This icon. Let's move the report down so that we can see it. Now, let's go to the main page now. Let's go to that same main page. Now, from here, I want to drill through this. This time around, now, you see 2 of them. Can you see them now? So it's not left for you. Whenever I want to drill through, which of them are you targeting? So now I'm targeting what? This. So look at the value here. So let me give us some time to also work on it. Create 2 of them. That's recorded. A Power BI gauge is a visualization tool used to display progress towards a goal or targets, just like KPI. All of them, they are in the same family. Whether you use gauge as your KPI or you use KPI visualizer. Goal or targets. So if you understand what we achieve with a KPI, it's the same thing. Now remember that we have to create a non-calculated target value, right? Just like the way we did it for. But in this case now, we will have minimum and maximum and the targets in the case of gauge. But you can actually do away with some of them depending. You may not have minimum, you may have maximum and target, but target is what? Is compulsory. So let's quickly see how we can apply it. Let me start by creating. Okay, let's activate it. There are 2 ways you can actually create your gauge. You can input the value from formats, or you create your measure. Use measure to create your target. So let me show us the first method first. So this is the gauge now. This is the visual. So the first method, step. activate the what? The gauge visual. Then supply the value from format visual. Supply the values from format visual. So just look up after writing. So once we have activated it, you go to format. Add data to, okay, let's go this way first. So we can only adjust it, but let's just remove that one. Let me go the other way first. The only step you delete now is the one I just gave you now. So you just replace it with, create your target with visual, create your target maximum, minimum with visual, with a measure rather. So let's quickly go and create a, let's quickly go and create the measure. So let's say the measure is the total of what? Total of gross income. So let me create a measure for that. Total of gross income. So I'm going to use that as my target. Let's say, pay attention. Let's say, gauge. Let's just put, can somebody, if you are working with the same data, somebody should give me, just output using card, output a total of gross income. Let me know the total value. I think it's about 15,000 plus, have you? I want to know the total so that I will plan my target. Okay, I know the total is 15,000. Okay, let me say my target is 16,000. Don't worry. I just wanted to know what the total is so that I will know how to plan my targets. So the data, your next step, add the actual data to the visual. The actual data is dragging the what? The gross income into the visual to have the actual data first before you compare it with the target. Which one? Look at this here. Look at this here. Okay, is it activating it? Yes, that's. I just click on this and it brought out an empty gauge. Which value? What did you? No, the way we plan target now, I first of all take into consideration the total of this now, which is what? 15. So I need to even change this. It's not even up to 1,000. Or yes, so this is 15 point what? This should be 1,000 now. Yeah, 15,000 point something, right? So that is why I use 16,000 as the target. Good, yes, I want the target to be higher than the what? The actual value. And we can always edit. Let's just complete the process first. We can always edit. Let's set our minimum first. So remember the step now. We created a target. So this measure is for the target, right? Now, and then we added our actual data into the gauge. Now, at the moment now, it's showing us, look at it now, it ranged from here, and then it stopped here, compared to what? To 30 point what? So this is what is captured now. But we are going to reset and what? Our target is not there. Our target is what? Is this. So based on this default target that it has projected by itself, that is not your own target. That is why we created what? Measure. So that when I will add it, it will now what? It will go back based on the percentage. So now, if you check here, if you are on the visual, you will see that we have minimum value field. And then if you scroll up, we have what? Target value. And we also have what? Maximum. That target, that measure is what you drag and add to your what? Your target value. Once you add it, look at what happened. It's just small that is remaining before it gets to where the target is. Because this is 15 points. So you can see where it put that line. That what? The margin is not much before you get to what? The target. Now, we did not set minimum. So your minimum, you can go to the format now to edit it. This is what I was trying to do now, under gauge as is. Let's go to what? Call out value. Which one did I follow now? I click here. Let me see. Target. One of them should be able to give us those options that we want to fill. I just want to show so that in case you want to fill them from here. I'm looking for a minimum. Once you see it, let me know. For minimum. Let's go to general. General will be format. What I'm looking for. I've checked here, have you? Let me check everything. It's here now. Look at me. Look at mass. Look at what? Target. So now you can see that target is not active. Why? We have added it. We have supplied it from our measure. So it's either you use measure to get your minimum and add it to the minimum what field over there, and maximum, or you come here and type it direct. You know, now let's assume that time, this was the mistake we made. That time that we created this, that it was telling us no data fund, we will have added this gross income inside it, that will have brought out all this. So there would have been need for us to go and create even measure for the target. So we just come here and use its own to input that 16,000. So let's say here now, let's put minimum of what? 10,000. You can see that as I'm adding it now, and you see that is minimum now. Before it was showing 0. So minimum is now reading. Value is now reading here now. It's reading 100 now. Let me add another 0. You see it now? It's now 1K. You know, if you did not specify your minimum, it will work. So you only need the data and the target to get to measure your progress. Now, if you are not saying that, okay, there's a minimum that was set, like 1,000. The maximum was also set to be what? Let's say what? 20,000. Let's say this. You can see it now. That place that was showing 30.7. Wait, I'm coming. You know, this place was showing 30 before, which was created by the program by itself. We are not the one that set what? The maximum. So now we are setting our own maximum to be what? 20,000. Yes, this is higher than our target. That's why we are not seeing any value. Yes, so let me make it up to, can you see it now? Let me make it up to, this is what now? 20,000. That is what, this is 200,000. Yeah, let's make it 20,000. Good. So you can see it now. Now, from 100 as minimum, this is where you are. So the more they keep entering more value, it will keep what? Coming down. So that is why it is important that you manually set your maximum. If not, it will just work with what? The one that will generate. This one? The measure is the target now. Yeah, we use measure to get our target. That where we are right now compared to where we are going to. Where we are right now is 15.38. Compared to where we have agreed that we should be targeting is what? 16K. Now, when you look at the margin, you are almost there. So you can measure your business whether you are doing well or not. If you go and increase our target now to, let's say what? 19,000, right? Let's increase it. You see the margin will change. Let me commit it from here. You see the margin now. So you know that you are still far from where you are going compared to where you said is the maximum. Hallelujah, Jesus. I am singing a song of victory. Hallelujah. Queenette. Queenette, let me pause first. Oh, yeah, ask your question. No, continue. Okay, so that they will hear the question and start asking their own later. Okay, wait, okay, like scenario. Okay, this is a practical scenario now. This is life business. Your current performance in terms of gross income is what? Yes, it's KPI now. The concept of KPI, the same thing, is another way of measuring progress from where you plan to be. Do you understand it now? So they gave you a target of 20 million. And at the end of the day, you have realized only 5 million. So the gauge will be telling you that you are far, like I did now. With the gauge now, we don't need to do any calculation. You know what, Oga, look at the margin here. Look at the margin. The difference is still high. But that time when it was 16, the difference was just minimum. So this is practical. Any other question?
So it's summing all the colors that have money.
No, it's some. Now there is a criteria for measuring our performance, which is what? Gross income. And then we have a target of gross income to be what? 19,000. 19,000. And then at the end of the day, we have realized only what? 15.38. So now we can say whether we are trying or not, whether there is need to put more effort or not, whether somebody needs to be queried or not, whether somebody needs to be sacked or not, whether somebody needs to be employed or not. So these are the information, these are the decisions that it influences. Exactly.
So there's no querying for.
No. There must be a particular. See, in every business, okay, let me give you. Like NIT here now, we have a criteria for measuring our progress. Student what? Total registration. We cannot use all the criteria to the student attendance. We also have to look at, okay, the one that we can actually use to measure our progress. Ladies, gentlemen.